So I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about this story already. There were 3 children among 5 injured in a stabbing spree outside of an Irish school in Dublin, Ireland on Thursday. But Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter, has been going off about this. He says that there is a grave danger among us in Ireland, and that should never be here in the first place. So he's getting called hateful. He's getting called racist. He's getting called all sorts of names for tweeting things like this. He went off about this initially, then he deleted some tweets, and he went off again and deleted some tweets, and then went off again and deleted some more tweets. And he tweeted something this morning. He said, "My mother raised me to stand by what is right and to call out what is wrong." And then he released another string of tweets. So maybe he's probably not going to be deleting any more tweets. I know he's known for deleting tweets. He's known for this over the years, just in general, not about anything political, but just in general. But I was looking for one of his tweets, and I knew that Keith Woods had responded to it. And I found the reply from Keith Woods, but I couldn't find the tweet because it was deleted. And I can't find it on online anywhere. I've been searching for it. But we'll see how this progresses. But he's getting investigated. Conor McGregor is getting investigated because riots broke out after this happened. He's being investigated. He's being called all sorts of names. And someone wrote "Irish Lives Matter" on a wall. So an Irish kids get stabbed. Someone writes "Irish Lives Matter" on a wall in Ireland. And now that person is being investigated for a hate crime. This is ridiculous. This is I cannot hold myself back sometimes. And I know that, I get myself in trouble, right? I get myself in trouble. I've been let go from a career. I went full-time into doing the show. My name has been destroyed. I've been banned from social media platform after social media platform, payment processor after payment processor. But we have to tell the truth here today. We have to talk about this today. We have to talk about demographic replacement in, yes, white, Western European countries, how this relates to crime. And we're also going to talk about the cost of it. There was this article that came out from the New York Post. Migrant crisis has U.S. taxpayers on the hook for up to $451 billion. This number is a bullshit number, and I'm going to prove that to you today. This is like a sliver of what it actually costs per year, of what the open borders crisis actually costs per year. So Conor McGregor, he tweeted out, "We are at war." We literally are at war. If you just take a look at what in the U.S., go to the U.S. Let's bring it back to the U.S. for a second here. Take a look at, while we're spending billions upon billions of dollars defending the borders of other foreign countries, hundreds of billions of dollars, this is what the border of Texas looks like right now, okay? And this is happening every single day. This is a literal invasion, and this is not just happening in the U.S., this is happening in Ireland, this is happening in Sweden, this is happening in Germany, this is happening in the U.K., this is happening in Italy, this is happening all across Europe, except for like maybe Poland, because they have closed their borders, and they're sane, and they don't care about being called racist, and people are going to let this happen because they're afraid of being called racist. People are going to let this happen because they're afraid of offending someone else. And we have a perfect example of this. Remember the grooming gangs that they were afraid to investigate because they had race fears? So they are more willing, the leaders of these countries are more willing to let their people be raped, pillaged, killed, exploded, oppressed, replaced, wiped off the face of the earth than they would offend someone. That's basically what we're dealing with here. So we're going to talk about this today. Like I said, I've been banned. There's really not much else they can do to me aside from kill me. And the show needs your support. I mean, we've had advertisers pull out. We got banned from MyPillow, okay, because the New York Times wrote an article about us. MyPillow banned us from doing an affiliate program with them. We need your support. Links are in the description below. It's the very first link. It's flowcode.com/page/Vincent James. There's a bunch of ways you can support the show. We've got the P.O. Box. We've got cryptocurrency. We've got Buy Me a Coffee. We've got Subscribestar, which is like the best option. $2 a month, $5 a month. You get access to all the streams forever, all the exclusive content. We've got a shop. If you order stuff this week, you're going to get it in time for Christmas. It helps the show tremendously. My Patron Supply, dry food supply, water filtration. There's a bunch of ways you can support the show. Check out the link in the description below, flowcode.com/page/Vincent James. All right, so let's get into it here. 3 children among 5 injured in stabbing outside of Irish school. We are in grave danger from a threat that should not be here in the first place. That is absolutely the truth. And so Conor McGregor is being investigated for his tweets. They're saying that he instigated violence. They're saying that he instigated violence. Now, he says that they're trying to use him as a scapegoat, which is absolutely true. Here's the recording. Here's the news report that he referred to when talking about this. Take a look.
Conor McGregor has a significant social media presence with 10.3 million followers on X, formerly known as Twitter. Last Wednesday night, in a post viewed almost 19 million times, Conor McGregor wrote, "Ireland, we are at war." In the aftermath of Thursday's stabbing in Dublin, he posted that there is grave danger among us in Ireland that should never be here in the first place.
I mean, somebody who has a following of 10 million followers on Twitter alone, to be whipping up this level of poison hate, he knows what he's doing, he's not stupid. And for him to say on Wednesday that Ireland is at war to his following is incredibly irresponsible.
On Thursday night, Conor McGregor posted a message praising...
So, here, and that, by the way, that wasn't even I heard that wasn't even true, that second part of that. But, he's promoting hate. He's promoting hatred. Again, what is wrong with people? You are being killed. You are being slaughtered. You are being quite literally genocided. You have to set up cement blocks to block people from ramming down Christmas markets. Okay? We have a literal invasion of millions of people happening at all of the borders, and you're worried about being hateful? You're investigating someone for a hate crime for writing White Lives Matter, which led to Irish Lives Matter. You're investigating someone for writing that on a wall, which led to Irish Lives Matter trending on Twitter. And here's a tweet here. This is from Keith Woods. So he's responding to this person here. He says, the open borders agenda of the government is what has made Dublin unsafe. An agenda Sinn Féin, I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, supports. Okay? This person blocked him after saying this. And so here is the demographic replacement that you can see in Ireland. I think there was some video that was going around for a while there where they were asking people what they thought the most popular name in some city in Ireland was, and they all said like Patrick and Lee, all these like Irish names, and they were like, nope, it's Muhammad. You are being genocided, okay? Wake the fuck up. In Germany, Italy, and Spain, suspect rates of Algerian immigrants are 10 to 17 times higher than the suspect rates of German, Italian, and Spanish citizens. It's like this in every single country. You know this, right? Like, it's like this in every single country as far as the crime rates are concerned. They break down exactly the same. Pretty much in every single country. Even in like a place like Brazil, which is like, some say is like the most multicultural country on the planet. It's the black Brazilians that commit the highest rate of crime, and then it's the white Brazilians that commit the lowest rate of crime. And then there's Asian Brazilians, and they probably are even lower than the white Brazilians. They're like literal like Japanese Brazilians. Japanese by blood, Brazilian by nationality, and they probably commit the lowest amount of crime. And you can see this is a graph from the U.S. About interracial violent crime. And so here's what's going on here. So we have BBC News, anti-immigration signage in West Belfast is being treated as a hate incident. Irish girl dies. Irish kids get stabbed by a migrant that shouldn't be there in the first place. Someone writes, Irish Lives Matter. That person's going to prison now for hate crime. So again, there are two things that you cannot do. There are two things that you cannot do in this world. Number one, criticize Israel, meaning offend Jewish people, and you cannot defend white people. You definitely can't do that. And it's gotten to the point where they have more fears that racial tension is going to increase than they do of their people being raped, of their people being murdered, of their entire population being pillaged, being demographically replaced, being wiped off the face of the earth. No. If we say anything about this, we're going to stoke racial tensions. People are going to think that we're racist. Like, that's literally what it comes down to. And so this is how we're going to bring this back to Israel for a second here. The Holocaust. We talk about atrocity propaganda. We talk about how the Holocaust is weaponized. When someone calls someone a racist, right, especially when talking about like immigration, things like this, the first thing that comes to mind is what? Racist, racism, neo-Nazi. Your mind kind of starts to go down this path. Hitler. I can't be racist because of Hitler. And why is Hitler bad? Because he killed this many Jews in this particular genocide, which was the Holocaust. And it's in thousands of movies. It's in books. It's in recommended reading lists. It's in mandatory reading books. Reading list of books in schools, and it's everywhere, and you have to hear about it, and if you don't know about it, you're going to have to be re-educated, and if you say anything about it that offends us, then you're going to have to visit with a rabbi, you're going to have to go pray on the Western Wall, and you're going to have to do all of these things. Elon Musk has to go visit Israel because of the things that he tweeted, defending white people, by the way, which they called racist and anti-Semitic, his tweet, right? Elon Musk literally had to go to Israel. Why is it, and isn't that something else that another very important question, right? Very important question, something that I asked in the previous segment. But let's just roll this back here for a minute. Let's just spend a little bit of time on this for 1 second here. Number one, we have this up on Telegram, t.me/realvincentjames. Why is it that anytime someone gets a little bit of power, gets into office, becomes the president of the U.S. or whatever, they have to go pray on the Western Wall. They have to go visit with Bibi Netanyahu. They have to go visit with some sort of a rabbi or something. Why is it every single time? You got Milei there, he's doing these weird rituals with rabbis, and you've got Georgia Maloney, and you've got Bill Clinton, and George Bush Sr., and Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump, and Bill de Blasio, and Ron DeSantis, and he's signing bills in Israel. Does that ever make you, think just for, 1 second? If you have just a couple of brain cells in your head, does that make you think just for, 2 seconds, what's actually going on here? Why can we not say this one certain thing? Why can we not deny this one certain, or not deny, but minimize this one certain genocide that happened 100 years ago, and it's illegal in 30 countries? You go to prison if you do that in 30 countries. Why can't we defend white people? What's actually happening here? As the old saying goes, that's been attributed to Voltaire, probably incorrectly. If you want to know who's in control, find out who you can't criticize. And also find out who you can't defend either. So, forget about the grooming gangs, forget about all the rest of this stuff. If you are anti-Semitic in any way, they're going to deport you. Forget about stabbing Irish children, we're going to defend you for that. But if you are anti-Semitic in any way, we're going to deport you. You're going to be deported. Here's another one here. That's in France. Here's another one from the UK. Foreign students, academics, and workers who commit anti-Semitic acts or praise Hamas face being expelled from Britain under plans being drawn up by the Home Office. That's kind of sus, isn't it? That's kind of interesting. But let's go ahead and relate this to crime. We hear this over and over and over again. Diversity is a strength. Diversity is a strength. Joe Biden said back when he was a senator, he said there's going to be an unrelenting stream of immigration. Nonstop. Seems like he was right. And white people like me are going to be a minority within 10 years, within 15 years. That's what he said. Basically verbatim. You can look it up. And he said that's a good thing because diversity is a strength. If they repeat the lie enough, maybe eventually it'll become true in the public's mind. And that's basically what has happened, right? It's become another one of the bumper sticker phrases of the left, right? I say that their worldview is a bumper sticker worldview. I've said this before. It is. Become another one of those phrases. And it's become a phrase popularly used by conservatives as well, so-called conservatives as well. Diversity is the strength. But is that true? Is that true, though? When we look at how crime rates break down in every single country, doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter if you look at poor, rich, it doesn't matter. When we see how crime rates break down, we see what we're spending on welfare. Take a look at Los Angeles 50 years ago. Take a look at Los Angeles today. Take a look at Paris, France 100 years ago. Take a look at it today. Take a look at London 50 years ago. Take a look at it today. Does it look like we're becoming stronger? Does it look like these nations, these cities are becoming stronger, are becoming safer? This is another lie that they tell. So we're going to take a look at this here. 23% of the European prison population in Europe is non-European. The percentages of non-Europeans range from 50.2% of the Austrian prison population to 44.2% in Belgium and 22% in Sweden. Just a few years ago, they were talking about how people are throwing grenades at each other in Sweden. Ramming down Christmas markets. Remember what happened in France at the Bataclan massacre? How about in Germany? Where was it? Cologne, I think it was, where they had 1,000 rapes on New Year's Eve by migrants after the migrant crisis in 2015. Many countries such as Sweden, Italy, and France face serious overcrowding problems entirely related to the massive percentages of foreigners taking up their space in prisons. See, here's the thing. People say that our prisons are overpopulated, and we actually talked about this in an AFPAC speech. I quote tweeted someone who posted something about this white fan of this rapper Nick Nardo Wick, who got beaten. It's like a brain bleed right now because he got beaten so badly by his black entourage. Talked about this during AFPAC. A lot of people say that our prisons are overpopulated. We are over incarcerating people. Look at how it's compared to this country. Look at how it's compared to Sweden. Look at how it's compared to China or whatever. The truth of the matter is, and no one's really willing to say this, aside from me and a few others, is that the reason why our prisons, we have more people in prison than Sweden does, is because Sweden, for now, this is changing very quickly, doesn't have the people that are vastly more likely to commit crime. Doesn't have the people that commit most of the crime, the vast majority of the crime in this country. They don't have those people there. Take a look at some of the graphs that we've been over on the show time and time again. U.S. homicide rate by racial group, what the U.S. would look like if, it was... you have the white murder rate versus the European American murder rate versus the actual murder rate. Like it just goes on and on and on. And someone like Conor McGregor, I mean, this guy has fuck you money. Okay, this guy's got like, I don't have anything, and I'm telling this truth. I'm losing. I'm negative. I'm losing for telling this truth. Imagine having as much money as that guy does. I know he's in Ireland, so you can't like say certain things, but he's like the last person that should be concerned with, speaking out. He's like the last person that should be concerned. People like that should be speaking out more. Actually, I know that they have to go take their trips to Israel if they do, like Elon Musk did. And so here's how they lie to you. They say that the murder rate has gone down. So how could diversity increase crime rates if? Look at the murder rate since 1990. Look at the murder rate that we're going to start in 1990 and not go back before that at all. Okay, so one thing on this here. First of all, and this is something I've said for years on this show. I just haven't actually seen a study about this. Medical advances mask epidemic of violence by cutting murder rate. Murder rates would go up to 5 times higher than they are currently, but for medical developments over the past 40 years. This was in 2002. They say murder rates would be 5 times higher if it weren't for medical advancements, technology, the advancements of technology to where they're able to save people's lives easier, when they're shot, when they're stabbed, things like this. Okay, so that's number one. This murder rate would be all the way up here if it weren't for medical advancements. Number two is that if you go back to 1960, okay, the violent crime rate was 160.9 per 100,000. Today, it's 379.4 per 100,000. So this is adjusted for population growth. So the violent crime rate is 3 times higher today than it was back in 1960. The murder rate is what sort of like keeps this all on track and gets them and sort of aids them in their lives. Murder rate 5.1, went up to 9.4 in the 90s, back down to 5.0. Rape rate 9.6 per 100,000, 42.6. Okay, this is 2019, so more than 4 times higher. Robbery rate was 60.1 in the 1960s. Today it's 81. Aggravated assault was 86. Today it's 250 per 100,000. So those are two ways that they lie. Now, another thing that they say is that conservatives say this, right, to attack Joe Biden. The crime bill led to the mass incarceration of black people. The truth of the matter is that we have an under-incarceration problem in this country, not an over-incarceration problem in this country. Okay? Again, they like to compare us to the developed nations like Sweden, which is totally different demographically than us, or Germany, or a lot of these other like developed Western white European countries. They don't have the people that commit most of the crime here. But now they're really starting to see this change. They're really starting to see this difference. 23% of the European prison population is non-European. This is far greater than their percentage of the population for now. In Austria, it's 50%. In Belgium, it's 44%. In Sweden, it's 22%. Okay, they're dealing with overcrowding. They're finally coming to this. They're finally starting to deal with what we here in America have had to deal with for a very, very long time. But one of the lies that they tell is that, Joe Biden's crime bill back in the 1990s led to mass incarceration. If anything, it increased white incarceration. After the crime bill here, black incarceration went down. Why is that? Well, it's because the crime bill actually kind of worked. The crime bill kind of worked. We have this article here up on dailyveracity.com. New New York City crime data show crime would drop by 90% without diversity. But hey, diversity is a strength. Diversity is a strength. And like Joe Biden once said, we're going to have unrelenting stream of immigration. He said this before he became president. He was sitting next to Alex Mayorkas when he did it. When he said this. What is his title? What is Alex Mayorkas? How do you even spell his last name? Mayorkas' title. He's the he's a Jewish American. He is the director of Homeland Security, Secretary of Homeland Security. He was sitting next to him when he said that, and now he's his Secretary of Homeland Security. We'll have an unrelenting stream of immigration, nonstop. Folks like me, Caucasian descent, will be an absolute minority. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's what Joe Biden said. Diversity versus homicide rates. I mean, it just takes a cursory look. Okay, so let's talk about the cost of this here. Migrant crisis has U.S. taxpayers on the hook for up to $451 billion, according to a House GOP report. This is a tiny, tiny, tiny drop in the bucket compared to what we actually pay. Take a look at this USA Today article. More than half of all immigrants are on welfare. Not illegals. They're not saying illegals. More than half of immigrants are on welfare. Some form of welfare. Cash, food, some form of medical, some form of welfare. Let's take a look at the education system, because this is where a lot of this cost comes from that they're not even talking about. Forget about the public transportation and some of the other public services for a moment. How many illegal children are here? Now, they've been saying 11 million illegal aliens since the 1980s. It's like 40 million, according to studies that have been done on this, 40 or 50 million. They say that 10 million people are going to cross the border by the time that Joe Biden leaves office, and that's the ones that we know about. They're saying 4.4 million. Okay, so let's just take their number. Let's just say that it is 4.4 million. Let's do a little bit of math here. 4,400,000. Okay. And let's take a look at what does it cost to educate a child per year in the U.S. So 4,400,000 times 16,000 per year. Okay, that is $70 billion just in education alone. But let's go ahead and multiply that by 4. $281 billion per year just to educate the children, the illegal alien children that are here. How much does crime cost the U.S. each year? 4.71 to 5.76 trillion. How much is welfare and Medicaid in the U.S. each year? 147 billion to 791 billion. So we're talking about trillions, tens of trillions of dollars. This is what it's costing us. This is what this demographic change, this strength is costing us. What does it cost to deport someone? $10,000 per person, one-time fee. 10,000 times, let's just go a high number here, 30 million people. 300 billion. One time. Versus trillions per year. Yeah, I think the racist task forces that they're warning that Trump is going to set up if he wins in 2024 probably might be a good idea. Wake up. That's what we have. Make sure to check out the flow code. Links are in the description below. Yeah, call me what you want, but the one thing you can't say is I'm wrong. So, lots of ways you can support the show. I don't know how long the show is going to last. We've been under attack for so long, and we need your support. Since we've been banned from every mainstream platform that exists, we need your support for the show to survive. You can support by subscribing to my Subscribe Star for $5 a month to get access to exclusive content, and more at other tiers. You can also support by using cryptocurrency, our P.O. box, and as always, going to preparewithvincent.com or waterwithvincent.com to get your 25-year shelf life dry food supply or water filter systems. Check out dailyveracity.com/support to find all the links. It helps the show tremendously.